Hi, I'm Robin Fiked at Stamping Country. Welcome to my stamping studio. Today we're going to do this very simple card with the pretty flowers. I'm going to save the best technique for last, so make sure you go all the way through. This paper is a Flowering Foils designer paper, and you can get it for free with Celebration, which lasts till the end of March, so March 31st. So you just have a little bit more time. You can earn this free with a qualifying order. You have the pretty flowers. You notice the foil in this paper and the plaids, and then we have some silver and the little daisy paper. So it's beautiful. Today we're going to use these great big gorgeous flowers. And now make sure that you go through all the way to the end, because I have my magical disappearing white technique at the end. So you're going to start with a piece of Granny Apple Green that's cut 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then we're going to have a piece of Night and Navy cardstock. It's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay, so we're going to use this weave embossing folder. Now the embossing folders have changed. The old dynamic embossing folders, you didn't need a shim, but with these newer folders you do need a little bit of a shim. So I've cut up a piece of the back piece from the designer paper into 4s, and I use that as my shim, and it gives me the right thickness when I run it through my Big Shot. And you'll see when it comes out, you get this gorgeous weave, and it looks great just like that. But here's a very simple technique using Whisper White craft ink. I'm going to simply apply that directly to the paper. Now I like the uneven look. If you want a more even layer of ink on your paper, then you might want to lay it down and apply the ink. But you can see how that brings out or highlights that pretty weaved pattern. And you can add as much or as little of the ink that you want. Next, we're going to fold our card. You always want to bite the bump. When you score it, the one side has a bump and the other side has a ditch. You want to fold in on the bump. And then we'll apply our pretty weave. And we're going to go ahead and color our flowers. This is pretty basic and simple. I'm using daffodil. You want to work quickly when you're using your Stampin' Blends. If you don't, they don't blend correctly and you see harsh lines. So I'm moving rather quickly. Shadows, I'm not overthinking it. It really looks great. When you run into problems is when you overthink it and move too slow when you're coloring. So that's my big tip on coloring for the day. So I'm going to do this to both the flowers where I'm just using my daffodil alcohol blends, Stampin' Blends. And then I'm going to use the Mango Melody. I'm going to use darker. I just wanted a little bit darker for these little and for the centers. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to color. I'm not even going to worry about shading on these leaves. Just want to color them quickly, because I want to get to that fun technique. And then I'm going to fussy cut around all the flowers. Now you can see how beautiful this is. We'll place this on our card. But did you notice the white spaces? That it was very hard to cut around some of those littler flowers, and so that really stands out and looks sort of bad against the Night and Navy. I'm going to show you a technique. I first saw this from an artisan stamper. His name's Martin. I'm not sure where he's from, the UK or someplace. But anyway, he showed this technique, and I was very skeptical of this technique. I thought it would look sloppy. But let me show you how it's done. Notice the difference in these cards. See the white space there? And it just doesn't look right. But it's really hard to cut around those. So now I'm using my Night and Navy Stampin' Blend and watch what happens. This is my disappearing white. Yes, I was skeptical, and no, it doesn't look sloppy. It just sort of makes the white fade into the background, and it looks great. It looks like you trimmed around all those little itty bitty teeny tiny pieces. So if you have any white showing, you can go in and make them disappear. Notice up at the top where I've already colored. Look at the difference between the top of the card and the bottom of the card. Just watch that disappear. It's just like magic. So that's today's technique. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for stopping by, and have a fabulous day.